Welcome back to the artist always known as Alejandro. It's me, Alejandro, and you joining me. Thanks for coming along and sketching with me today. Back with the Mighty Monsters. The leader of the group, Dracules. As I was creating them, I knew I wanted a vampire to be the leader of the group. Dracula's considered by many like the leader of the monsters. Vampire, very powerful, very hypnotic. So, but I wanted him not to be just a regular looking body. I want him to have a Superman body, a body buff, strong, muscular. And playing around with the idea like Dracula, Hercules, okay, Dracules. That's how it came about. And Dracules was born. I think I've always had him in the same design, basically. Always have him with his cape, bare-chested, his super undies, bare-legged, like little wristbands and boots. You don't see the boots in this drawing. I wanted to not draw the whole body. Just give you most of it, but not the boots. I didn't want to do a full figure. So just breaking them down in a very superheroic pose. The hands on the hips thing. I wanted to make it basic. I didn't want him flying. Keep him grounded, posing in a very superheroic way. Just breaking up his party in a little pencil sketching phase here. The men's bodies, they have a very big upper body. And it tends to get smaller as you get near the hips. I'm just dividing it into little sections. You saw my rib cage. Now we're getting down to the legs, just playing back and forth. And again, if this method works for you, fine. If it doesn't, try something else. I like going back and forth. If it's pencil, I do that. It's a nice feel. You're just adding a little pressure. You're getting a feel. You could just kind of go over the same area. Here, it's great because you can erase whole sections just like you would if it was in pencil with an eraser. So I want him posing and just kind of looking off to the right, like, hey, look at me. I'm not Sandra D. A little bit of his knees, just doing a little bit here and there, breaking up that area. Lower area of the legs. Then his left leg. So we'll have it facing out. So there's the kneecap pointing out towards the left. But then I realized this is a weird pose for his leg to really be, his right leg, needs to be a little bit more bent. Then the hands on the hips, trying to get that distance right, always challenging. Now his fist will go a little bit past the hip line, you see. I think I figured this. Tweak it a little bit, just getting the general idea. Because the hands will rest on the hip bone. But even this changes here. Doing the left arm was a little hard for me. I don't know what was going on there, but as you can see, there's maybe too much of a distance between where the bicep and the elbow join. So I will fix it. Just fleshing in some of the rib cage and there I go. The knee wasn't, it should be turned just a little bit more. It's like his body's angled out a little more towards the left, would be the right side of the screen, with his head turned a little bit more to his right and our left. There we go. So just a basic pose there. Very heroic. I drew in a little more details. Now we're going to the ink phase right away. I'm doing a 5 size brush on our vector layer now. Something nice happened here. I was just kind of playing around. I usually try to draw the lines together as much as possible when I'm doing this, but I wasn't too concerned with that. Doing his little widow's peak. He's got to have the widow's peak. Very Dracula in his angled eyebrows. I'm realizing maybe I should, not too bad for the distance. And his nose, I just kind of played with this idea. And the mouth, I broke it up into little parts. Zooming in, it does help. I wasn't too concerned about this, the lip not meeting. It works. And for one of the very first times, I got the eyes the way I wanted to, almost from the get-go. There it is. The eyeballs are in the position I want them, and there we go. Hey, are we getting better with eyes here? Maybe. That's the hope, right? Strong cheekbones. Maybe a little bit of a... There we go. There we go. Just a little bit of a nose there. Just a hint. Just enough. Of course, you could play around with the hairline. You could always erase it, which I do from time to time. The big neck muscles here. Now these are breaking in sections. There's your tricep and then some muscle joints in the elbow going into the forearm. Maybe not too big. Eventually I realized I made them a little too big, but you'll see. Yeah, these poses. And there's your shoulders. I'm not pushing them out too much. Just enough. There's the shoulder muscle doesn't need to go that long, but we're getting there. Yeah, that left arm was giving me a hard time. And on the other hand, on the hip, you'll just see like a hint of the finger there, because it'll be blocked by his hip this way. And then the chest takes a few, it's not lining up. There we go. A little bit there, and then you just kind of have a line there and bring it straight across. I mean, you could have a little bit, but you know, men's chests are just these big, flat things. Obviously, we've built out, it's developed, but you know, nothing like a woman's bosom. And the hands on the hips there. And his super trunks leading into his massive leg. Well, I hope you're enjoying following along with Dracules here. He's fun to draw. And if you have any mashup characters there, show them off. I'd like to see what you got. I don't know what was the origin of the Mighty Monsters. It just came to me one day. I think I drew the whole team at once. I mean, I was a kid. So I can't remember exactly how that happened, but there he is. Scoping it out from a distance. Always go back a little bit. See the whole picture. See how things will line up. If it's not jiving, you know what to do. Yeah, no, the belt. He has a belt, of course. Gotta give him a belt. Flip it on its side. It's just a lot easier to do these lines. These I like to have as a straight line. One shot. Now this time I decided to add a D on his belt. I think I just had a circle. Like, let's make it design a little D for Dracules and give it a little something. Play around with that idea a little bit later. Let's draw the super trunks from there. Give him his little wristband, gauntlet things. They're not bracelets. Looking sharp, man. Now here's where I'm going to do his cape. He's got to have that kind of crest. It's very Dracula. I like it popping up. Doesn't have to be too much, but like just enough. I was trying to figure out how that side would come in. I don't want it to be, it's not going to be high up, just that little hint of it going up there. And he does have a little circle in the middle there to hold everything together. And of course, we're doing our cape flowing over the shoulders, draping over in a very superheroic fashion. And the cape, gotta have it flowing. You should know how to do capes by now, right? I think I went a little too far here. Like, okay, let's make it a little. I don't want it to go all the way to the floor, then you won't see what it is. Just do our little lines going through. Cape kind of rumpled up. And then the other side. I always like to show that the cape kind of folds over. So you see a little bit of the outside of the cape flowing over, and then you see the inside of the cape. Maybe in real life a cape wouldn't do that. You would just see the back, the inside of the cape this way, and then the back of the cape on the other side. But I like doing it this way, without the pencil. There you go. As you can see, yes, he was a little too buff for me. Way too buff. He was like super steroid version Dracules, so I trimmed him down just enough. He's still very muscular, but not too muscular. Now we're on another vector layer doing the little details. So just has a little something there, so maybe it shows that it might have a shimmer to it, a little metallic feel. Break it up into that, see? That little space gives you that. Wee! Okay, Dracules, now let's add some shade to his little collar. There we go. Well, it's getting that time. Yeah, by the time this video drops, out here in Florida, Halloween Horror Nights is starting. Yeah, that early. End of August, it begins. I don't know, will they have vampires there? I think they might. Be on the lookout. I'll be going. You could see my videos on Alex Excursions playlist. Whenever I go. I'm not going opening weekends. I know I usually do, but I'm not. Can't do it this time. But I'm hoping to go the week after. I kind of am glad, in a way, just to... Opening weekend can be a little crazy. As I'm sure many of you know. Dudes, if any dude wants to dress up like Dracules, hey, show me a picture. Provided you have the body for it, dudes. I should want to, a skinny dude, go for it, If it empowers you, why not? Cosplay Dracules for us. A little shade to the knuckle, just enough. And just a little bit more muscular leading it to the gauntlet there. And I like to add just a little extra shading lines to the ribs, but we'll get there. Of course, our ever-present shading in the abs. Always got to have that shading above the abs. Now, I kept the lines below this time. It's a good guide, and I like the way they lie. Of course, they're shading the actual 4-pack. Why doesn't he have a 6-pack? Because he doesn't need them. He's the Count. Dracules. Blah. I played Principal Dracula. I think I might have mentioned that. I wrote a dinner Halloween show called Homecoming at Transylvania High. And I got to play Principal Dracula, the principal of Transylvania High, at the homecoming dance. It was fun to play that role. Blah. I do not go blah, 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 blah to Code Hotel Transylvania. Yeah, erase some lines, and I'm not showing that. Just show you what's drawing. Shading here. Got to remember, if his fist is there, there's going to be some shade. Just a little bit on the pelvis and a little bit down below. And then his leg muscles. I keep these and just use that as a guide, and it wasn't jiving for me. If I turn it on its angle, it works a little better for me because it helps the downstroke of the pen, or in this case, the stylus. Right, Dracules? What does Dracules do when he hits the gym? He pumps blood. Iron. Hey, there's iron in blood. Does this Dracules need blood? Maybe, maybe not. He can fly at super speeds. He can punch really hard. Is he weak to sunlight? No, he is not. It's one of his powers. And do these legs. I like to start that right about there. And now they're going to cross. I've seen artists do this thing where they make them cross. But do your knee shading first. And a little bit there. That line there. And a little bit there. I started too high up. There we go. Now I'm going to have these crisscross a little bit. That's a little something, a little more dimension and pizzazz, I think. I've seen the pros do that. One of my favorite guides, I might have told you, was the Marvel Universe when it came out in the 80s. And they had their characters posing, so you could see them in one pose and follow along and draw. I'm like, okay, I see where these muscles are, how they stand, that pose, where their fists are. Okay. There we are, getting a little something on his belt. Well, if anybody's going to Halloween Horror Nights, let me know, blah. I'll see you there, in the fog. I'm not dressing up as Dracules. I don't have the body for it. You can't dress up there anyway. You can dress up at Mickey's Not So Scary at Disney World, but I don't think they want you to dress up like Dracules. Or maybe even Wonder Witch. They have strict rules about that. There you go. And a little bit more shading to the nose and a little bit on his bottom lip. Nice. Just a little bit more. Well, it's not laugh lines, but now the head. Start from the center of that widow's peak and bring it out. Remember, it's okay. If you go past, you can erase those lines. I wanted to do this. It's coming from the center and adding all these extra lines. Just gives it that nice slick back look. So this is where he's very, very Dracula. I've got to keep that. Even gave him pointy ears. I know Dracula doesn't have pointy ears, but that's his thing. No, he's not Prince Namor. Or Namor, as he was in Black Panther. It's just adding a little bit more. He has to have black hair. So I'm just doing a few extra layers in here. Adding a little bit more. Going to the front and going to the back. So I'm breaking those up, as you can see. Little bit at a time, blah. Yes, yes. Quite spectacular. With these guys, I never really... I think I drew something where they fought their doppelgangers. Dracules fought Dracula. It was like one scene, like Dracula overpowered him briefly, and the next scene he laid him out. But they'll have bigger, deeper encounters in the fight to save the universe. Alright. I'm just adding on a separate, I made a separate layer for the cape, the details in the cape, and I'm very glad I did that because it won't interfere with the details of the rest of him and his regular lines. So I purposely made that its own separate layer. You might want to do that too. Because this way when you start erasing it, it's just the cape lines. Because you got to remember, back underneath his armpits, that's going to be a dark area. It's in the shadows. Just adding a few little lines to represent the cloth in the cape, the wrinkles. Just kind of shape it out there. And then I just decided to do some cross hatching. It just kind of adds more darkness to it. Now if this was pencil, I just darken it in. But here, you really can't do it. However, and still, I don't think I would have wanted to make it solid black. I kind of like this cross-hatching look. It gives you shade. You know, it's a dark area, but it's not completely black. And it looks good in the big picture. Let's go to his right side and do this. Right across. He's having fun with this. Good to go all out. It's okay to be sloppy. Remember, you can always erase it. And make sure you have that on its own separate layer. It is mythic. If you've never seen Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi, played by Academy Award winner Martin Landau for that role, you must. It's a great movie about one of the worst directors in Hollywood, but he befriended Bela and put him in his movies and put him in Bela's last movie, Plan 9 from Outer Space. But the movie about his movies is way better. I love it. I can see it anytime. Beautifully filmed in black and white by director Tim Burton. Johnny Depp playing the title role of Edward D. Ward Jr. Just adding some extra darkness there. Martin Landau deserved his Oscar for playing Bela. He had it down. Now that was a premiere. Go a little wide, just checking everything here, and I'm going to add just a regular raster layer to just fill in and make his eyes black. Yeah, no distinction between pupil or iris. But I am going to add that little glint with the airbrush. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. Now it's time to thicken the lines. He's too thin for me, so we're going to thicken the first layer with just the lines, primary lines of his body. Gotta make it stand out, make it have some substance, some meat. It's a great brush. Just kind of go over it and make those things thicker and then make them pop a little more. There we go. And I also do it to the detail layers. I thought they were a little too thin looking. So I want some of those details to really stand out, especially those muscles. Those shades in the muscles. There we go. And there we go. Just decided to add some gray in the background. But I'm like, gray just seems too gray. I gotta add something else, so I go back to the old trusty cloud brush and start doing that to add a little foggy effect. And then I go to the layer below and make it black. And I start to play around with the two of them, like see, okay, what is this? What's going on between them? Oh, now the clouds are black. Okay, that is very different. Let's play around with that. I like that. So you could do that. Yeah, to keep the clouds black. and a little bit more, just to give it, I don't want it to just be like it's stuck in one spot. I shrink it down a little bit to add a little bit more tighter clouds around Drac. Fortunately, I didn't color his layers there, so if you're not careful, it'll bleed into his body. So I'm just kind of surrounding it with this aura. There. And then I'm looking like, well, what else can I do? There is a liquefy brush. Look what this does. Whoops, too much. It does this liquefaction thing, kind of smears things and make things liquidy looking, like you're looking over a lake or a stream or a river or even an ocean. So this was fun to just play around and stretch these clouds and make it something a little more special. And you know, that should be it. Nice liquefaction, and there's your Dracules. There he is. Hope you had fun drawing this guy. I did. Very heroic vampire. So, as always, you can like and subscribe, and we'll get you another video. Keep doing them. Hope you enjoy following along, doing your own thing, whether you're doing it in the digital realm or on paper. Just got to keep drawing and enjoy the process, right? Okay. Well, thanks for joining me here. And I'll see you next time. Always keep creating.